So for my firstborn, I had a 3rd degree tear. And so when I then became pregnant again, that was a big thing holding here in the back of my mind as to what was to happen and, you know, the processes going forward. There was a big roller coaster ride, a lot of emotions as I went through different appointments and checks and so on, and discussions, because the thing is, nobody can tell you what is going to happen in your birth. And as we go along, the percentage of risks and so on, it's so hard to know. And so when I did get analysed and I had the catch up with this obstetrician to talk me through literally everything, I decided for myself that I was going to go ahead and go for another vaginal birth, even though there was a risk of, again, another 3rd degree tear or worse. But there was also a very high percentage that I wasn't going to have that as well. So what I did is put in place a lot of strategies to help reduce my risk of tear. So I obviously worked with all my exercises, movements, and my treatments throughout my pregnancy, because keeping healthy and well is really important. Keeping everything moving and keeping optimal position for baby is really important, because everything can be put in place, but if Bub is just not working with you in that and not in optimal position, then it's just not always works out. So that was all well, and I guess the thing, and if you've experienced this before, if you've got a toddler or another little child in your home and you're pregnant with your 2nd or 3rd or more, that understanding the spontaneous labour and going into spontaneous labour is so beautiful, but so unpredictable. So when you have a toddler and you need to make sure that they are minded, and you literally have your parents and your in-laws on call for the entire month leading up to your due date, and then your due date comes around and you're still pregnant, and then 3 days later, so I was 40 plus 3, and it was my husband's birthday. So it was, he always just joked that the due date was going to be his birthday, but literally our baby decided to come on his birthday, not in the morning. So I was so upset when I woke up on his birthday and I was still pregnant, because I cried, because I was obviously heavily pregnant and very emotional, and I cried and I said, I don't even have anything for you for your birthday. And here I was thinking I wasn't even going into labor, so I wasn't even going to gift him a baby for his birthday. And it is what it is. So I then had my parents come over in the morning. They minded my son for a little bit while I had a nap. Thank goodness I had that nap. And then his parents came over for lunch. We had a nice lunch, and literally they were leaving, and I started to feel a little bit funny, and then I realized I was having contractions, really light, small contractions. But I put my son, my toddler, to bed for his nap, and I went and I laid down myself and I timed them, and they were 10 minutes apart. By the time he woke up, I said to my husband, who was working from home on that day, I said, you need to stop work. We need to get max minded, because this baby is coming. So there was a little bit of excitement there, but also just needing to get the grandparents come back, pick up my toddler, and then the space was ours and I could fully relax and focus in. It was such a shorter period of time. So by the time he was gone, I think it was about 4, and literally by 5:30, everything had started to really ramp up. We left not soon after 6 in the evening, and I got into the birthing suite just before 7 p.m. and everything was just so quiet and relaxed, and it was fine. And I just worked with my swaying, my moving. I tried to sit on the ball, that didn't feel good. So then I just leant over the edge of the bed, had my music, and I was so aware, but I was also so in that zone. So I was in this state that you get into with birth, that you just not so aware of the externals, but you're really tuning inwards. And I had the bath already run, so I was ready to use the bath as a beautiful way to relax and for pain management and just to soften. And my midwife turned to me and said, "Karen, the bath is there and you can use it, but I don't think you need it." And I turned to her and I said, "I don't think I do either. Let's hop on the bed." So I got up onto the bed and it all just started. So it was all just progressing so well that my beautiful baby was born only an hour and a half after I got to the hospital. And literally 5 minutes before he was born, because we didn't know the gender of our baby for this second baby, and so 5 minutes before he was born, I just screamed out and I said, "It's a girl." My husband's like, "Well, what?" I said, "It's a girl. I think that it's a girl. I just have this feeling, and I think, and I've got to have a visual." And it was a boy. And so when he came up, when I lifted him up and I saw that he was a boy, and he literally looked like Max, my firstborn, and I just went, "He looks like Max." It was this most magical moment. And then yeah, he was then just on my chest and I could be with him. Because everything happened so fast, I still had so much adrenaline racing through my body. I actually had the shakes, which is actually quite normal, just so you know, but it's a weird feeling to be all shaky. I had a small tear, and so they just did that stitch up on the bed, and I was so shaky that my midwife, even though I had gone through the entire labour process with absolutely no drugs, no intervention, anything, and she said, "Do you want some gas?" I said, "Yes." And then I tried to use it, and I'd never used it. I didn't use it for my firstborn, and I didn't use it in the labour, so I'd never used it. So she's telling me how to do it, and I calmed down. It was really nice. Everything settled, and that was really nice. So I had this beautiful bonding time with our baby, and we were in and out of the hospital relatively quickly, purely because at that time my husband wasn't able to stay because of COVID and all of that stuff. So I just made the decision. My toddler was staying at the grandparents'. We had the house to ourselves. Let's go there, let's settle in, and let's relax and enjoy this little newborn bubble. A newborn bubble it was. So beautiful. I loved it. I would love to hear how you're going with your birth and your lead up to your birth. If you've had a baby before, how was that birth experience for you? Drop in the comments below. I would love to hear from you.
For more videos just like this, visit productive.com.